Casino. Join us for your chance to rev up the romance in a brand new Mini Cooper. That's right, Lucky Star Casino is giving away 2024 Mini Coopers at all locations on Valentine's Day. Turn love into luck, only at Lucky Star Casino. Head to any of our 6 Oklahoma locations. Lucky Star Casino, the biggest jackpots are closer than you think.
My name is Paul, and before I came to Nerve Renewal, I couldn't do anything. I could barely walk, I could not sleep, and I could not dance anymore. And my wife and I love to dance, so it was important that I got it fixed. Since coming to Nerve Renewal, I'm able to walk without pain, dance again, and I sleep through the night because I have no more pain. If you have neuropathy and you are in pain, no need for medications. You need to call Nerve Renewal today and schedule your first appointment. Your quality of life will change.
If you're suffering from pain, burning, or numbness due to neuropathy, schedule your consultation with Nerve Renewal now. Our non-invasive treatments are covered by Medicare, VA, and most insurance companies, and could have you pain-free within a few short weeks. With 5 convenient locations in OKC, Edmond, Norman, and Midwest City, relief is right around the corner. Call 405-674-4949. That's 405-674-4949. Or visit nerverenewalnow.com.
This is Corey and CB After Dark. We're here to take your calls, laugh with you, and cry with you. We have our first caller on the line. What's your name?
Hi, Corey and CB After Dark. This is Tiffany. Our car broke down, and my husband hates car shopping, especially in cold weather. He's getting mad and frustrated at me. I know he loves me and means well. What should I do?
Tiffany, love always wins. Go see my friends Weird Beard and Poofy Hair at Kalita Kia. They would love to help keep you and your husband warm in their giant climate-controlled indoor showroom.
Tiff, I picked my favorite song to dedicate to you, the Kalita Kia jingle.
At Kalita Kia, we're making friends for life.
KOKC, Oklahoma City.
The Tyler Media Station, entertaining you since 1965.
95.3 FM and 1520 AM.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Allison Keys. Democrats are hot on the campaign trail this weekend as South Carolina holds its official party presidential primary. Vice President Kamala Harris, along with the president, addressed staffers at their Wilmington, Delaware campaign headquarters.
This election, yes, it is about each of us asking of ourselves, what kind of country do we want to live in? That really is what is at stake.
Black voters in South Carolina overwhelmingly supported the Biden-Harris ticket in 2020, but is this year the same? CBS's Turian Small is there.
A lot of people are excited to be engaged this early and to participate this early in this process. And I think Democrats are looking at this as the first test to see what support remains, especially again in the black community, for Joe Biden.
Now to the Middle East, where the U.S. shot down one unmanned aerial vehicle and also conducted strikes against several UAVs in Houthi-controlled Yemen and the Red Sea. This as reaction continues over U.S. airstrikes retaliating for a deadly attack on U.S. troops. The BBC's Moira Alderson.
Iraq says U.S. airstrikes on sites linked to Iran have killed at least 16 people, including civilians. Iraq's prime minister denied the attacks had been coordinated with his government. Tehran has condemned the U.S. action, describing it as a strategic mistake. The strikes are in retaliation for the killing in Jordan of 3 American soldiers by Iranian-backed militants.
Dire weather warnings for California this weekend. KCBS TV's Tom Waite.
The recent storms have been damaging, but the incoming storm appears to be even more dangerous. The National Weather Service is warning all of Southern California from the mountains to the coast is at risk for severe flooding and slides. Flooding issues will not be confined to just the foothills, mountains, and burn areas. All areas, including highly populated urban areas, will be at risk for life-threatening flooding.
One of the faces in the crowd at tomorrow's Grammys will be the winner of the Music Educator Award. CBS's Steve Kathan with more.
Annie Ray leads the high school orchestra at Annandale High School in Virginia and the Crescendo Orchestra, too, for special needs students.
These students have changed my life, completely.
She uses color-coded strings and stickers to help them with hand and finger placement.
Someone will say, oh, they're so lucky to be in your class. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I took what I learned from them and I applied it to my gen ed classes.
A warning now for parents of high schoolers as researchers find that those who report using alcohol, marijuana, or nicotine have a higher risk for mental health disorders. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Dog parents are loving Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend Premium Dog Food.
The way she acts and the way she moves, it's just so much better. And she's like a puppy again. It's unbelievable.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a freeze-dried raw food made with 0 artificial preservatives, so it's naturally shelf-stable with no mess, freezer, or fridge required. Plus, it's full of premium turkey, beef, salmon, and meat your dog will love.
We started with Nature's Blend. She's happy, she sleeps well, she's energetic. I am just delighted with this product.
When given the choice, Nature's Blend and Amazon's #1 bestseller in dry dog food, 29 out of 30 dogs chose Nature's Blend first.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of delicious beef liver treats. Go to drmartypets.com/good or text GOOD to 511-511. Text GOOD to 511-511. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
Another milestone for Sting.
Gordon Sumner, a.k.a. Sting, is already in the wine industry, and now he's moved on to spirits. He helped launch a 30-proof peach-hued Italian Amaro. It's called the Amante 1530, and it's pretty reasonably priced at just $35 a bottle. The Amaro's like an Italian bitter you could use in place of Aperol in a traditional spritz, or for Campari in a Negroni, or even just sip it on the rocks. Either way, with Sting's name behind the booze, many ladies are saying, I'll have what he's having. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Apollo Creed on January 1st gives a local underdog fighter an opportunity.
Carl Weathers, best known for that role in the Rocky movies, died Thursday at the age of 76. Sylvester Stallone posted on social media, "We lost a legend." Allison Keys, CBS News.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative...
Broadcasting live from the palatial studios of KOKC in Oklahoma City, it's McRoof Talks Insurance. I'm Rick Allen Lippert, here with restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCollum. Also here is in the overstuffed recliner is the next generation HAAG-certified roof inspector Scotty McCollum.
Good afternoon, Rick.
Multi-talented Eric Yandel is the wizard on the other side of the glass.
Good to be with you.
He'll answer your call to 405-478-1520. 405-478-1520. Hey, and we are live streaming the show on the McRoof Talks Insurance YouTube channel. So, fellas, wave to the folks at home. There you go.
Scotty, come out of your corner.
You'll be amazed at the opulence of the palatial Talk Suite. You'll be amazed at the opulence of the palatial Talk Suite. Act 1 of today's show will start with our trivia question and other interesting tidbits like the word of the week, which I don't understand at all.
That's why Scotty's here.
While we wait for your call, that number again, 405-478-1520. In Act 2 of the show, we'll have more of your calls and Scotty's View from the Rooftop. The title of this week's View is Call the Roofer. Then in Act 3, we'll have our After the Storm tip brought to you by RoofRx and wrap up with some very wise words from Scotty's dad brought to you by Energy Q. Coming back from breaks, we'll have some obscure historical trivia, and believe me, if there's anything about the Beatles in there, you'll hear about it, including today. Now, the lawyer says I must tell you that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.us, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 8000002.
Wow.
And that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
That's a mouthful.
It is. Of course, it's from the lawyer, so it has to be.
There you go.
All right, so as I mentioned, the number is 405-478-1520. And since, folks, this is a live call-in radio show, it works a lot better if you call in.
Well, you know, we had a number of calls last week.
After we did, during the show.
We had a number of calls during the show. Some of our long-time, old-time listeners. That was really great to hear from them. And so we appreciate that. And we had a lot of calls this week from the show.
Oh,
So,
wonderful.
Yeah, that was and it was, we said that for this next few weeks, we're going to be talking primarily about two things. One is the value, the benefit of, the perfect timing of getting a roof inspection right now in the wintertime.
Right.
And number two, that ticking clock that we've talked about as respects the 4/19 hail date for most of the people in the metro last year. And those were the things that people were calling about.
And that leads us to this week's trivia question.
Okay.
So.
That's a good entree.
So, either one of you gentlemen want to take it?
Okay, I'll read. In the last decade, what has been the most commonly enforced post-storm time frame for a property owner to notify their insurer of a loss?
Okay. Now, you want to translate that into American?
Yeah.
Yes.
Layman's
Well,
terms.
Scott.
So we have a hailstorm today. You have how long on most insurance policies to notify your insurance company?
Okay.
That's what we're looking for.
The first person to answer that correctly wins 2 free tickets
to Paris?
to Carpenter Square Theater during this season. The tickets will be good through July, so you get to pick whatever show you want.
You greeted me this morning with bonjour, so I thought maybe they were going to get tickets to Paris this week.
I like to be
Keep it local. Keep it local.
He's not wearing his beret today.
I am not. It's not cold enough for the beret, but I do have it. So that number again, 405-478-1520. If you think you know what the typical time frame after a storm,
an event,
Yep. In order to before you call your insurance.
So I want to just remind someone who called us last week, Deanne, if you're listening, I did not receive that claim summary in my email. It may have gone to my spam. I did not see that or receive that. So if we can still help you out with that, just get it off to me, scott@mcroof.us. And I will make sure to check my spam for the next few days.
Okay, so while we're waiting for the phone to ring, Scotty, you want to tell us what the word of the week is?
Yes, Rick, I'd be delighted. It's dimensional stability.
Now that sounds very Gen Z to me.
Man, is that
I don't know.
Is that a college kid
Maybe
or
just
what?
an engineering term.
Okay.
There you go.
I was thinking video game.
Is
but,
that a HAAG term?
Well, it's something we cover in HAAG. It's something that we see. It's
there
something
you
we
go.
can
All
reference
right.
a lot when we inspect a commercial roof.
All right, dimensional stability. What does that
Lay
mean?
it on us.
Okay. Well, I'm actually going to read you the definition first.
Please do.
Then we'll get into the practical application of the term.
All right.
So, dimensional stability is defined as a measurement of a material's change in dimensions such as length, width, due to thickness in response to exposure conditions from the environment it is in. The degree of dimensional change is expressed as a percentage and is specific to a particular material being observed.
Gotcha. Now I know where he's going with that.
I thought you would.
So is that
I thought you would actually have quite a lot to say about it.
Would that be like using the wrong size board, piece of lumber, and I don't even know what the term is on the roof, the very top beam at the top of a roof?
Oh, the ridge beam?
The ridge beam, yeah. If that should be like a 2x12 or something, and if you use a 2x4, you're going to get a sagging roof?
No,
that's not what we're talking about.
You're talking about structural stability.
Oh, okay.
He's talking about dimensional stability.
Oh.
Okay. And I'll give you, because we talked about this week, it was something that came up. I'll give you a for instance.
Okay.
People might be able to relate to. If we put on a metal panel roof,
right?
Okay,
all right.
That and say the panel is 100 feet long.
All right.
Okay, that panel in the heat of the summertime will expand as much as 1 inch.
Wow.
Okay, so think about the implications of this. Okay, that panel is fastened to something.
Right.
Okay, and then at the top of the roof, that panel is covered with a ridge cap, for instance, a metal ridge cap.
Right.
And at the bottom of the roof, that panel has a trim piece on it, okay, which is a fascia or an eave metal detail, okay.
Right.
Well,
Or
if
drip
that,
edge or something.
if that panel is going to expand 1 inch, and we slap our metal right up against the end of the panel and fasten it screw it into the fascia, for instance, then that panel expands 1 inch. It's going to bend the metal trim, and it's also going to try to pull your fascia off of the structure.
And it's going to stress the fasteners as well.
So there's a lot of things that go on. And that's a great point, Scotty. That's something that people don't really think of in terms of those fasteners on the roof. And we talk a lot about when we do a metal roof, there's certain things that we do that some people will tell you don't have to do. First one being clean deck is the only way that we'll do a metal roof. We will not install a metal roof over something else. Okay. And meaning asphalt shingles. We're not going to just lay a panel up there and screw it in. All right.
It's not the 1960s.
Yeah, it's not the 1960s. There may be more than one way to do things, but there is probably, generally speaking, one best way to do something, and that's what we're looking for in replacement done right. So
okay.
Well, let me dimensional stability. Scotty, you have some other examples of that?
Yes, actually. So,
well, hang on a second. Let me remind everybody that we have a trivia question hanging out there. What is the time frame after a storm event to call your insurance company?
In most policies,
if you want to be covered, and if you think you know, call 405-478-1520. Okay, Scotty, more examples of dimensional stability.
Well, especially when I was taking HAAG training to get certified for the first time.
Yeah.
And I've seen many examples of this that I had seen only a few of before I took the test, before I did all the coursework in real life, which is very cool. And that is on a lot
they were there. He just didn't know what he was looking at.
Right.
Exactly. That's right. But when you have a membrane roof, maybe on a commercial building or even on a residential property, when these membranes are installed in such long spans, they're just, they come in rolls, they're rolled out
100 feet
30,
long or
40,
60
50,
feet long.
100 feet long per run. Dimensional stability really comes into play a lot because you have a certain standard overlap from one roll to the next, and one roll to to each side. But when that membrane expands and contracts, it's going to stress all of the things that are either gluing it down, fastening it down, the polyiso or any other insulation board products that you might have underneath as a substrate. And then even the roof decking can be affected sometimes. And all these materials, they have different coefficients of dimensional stability.
Right.
I don't know if coefficients is
no, it is.
Exactly
No, that's exactly right. It is.
But because they all have a different value in dimensional stability, they all expand and contract at different rates, which can cause a lot of havoc on seams and joints. Those are usually the biggest places that you see.
When you think about one of our roof assemblies, we've got a roof covering, whether it's a membrane, a shingle, a metal roof. It's going on top of something else, which is an underlayment or an ice and water product or something like that. That's attached to a deck or some type of dimensional lumber.
Right.
And then that, of course, is or a steel building, steel structure, girders or beams or purlins or whatever. And then that is in turn attached to something else. And all of these things, as Scotty says, they don't all expand and contract at the same rate. Okay, so you get a situation where you actually have this slippage in there.
Exactly.
Okay, and it has to be accounted for in the way that you flash, the way that you detail everything. So if something slips and moves, everything that's underneath it is still watertight and performing the purpose of the roof in the first place, which is to keep everything Mother Nature throws out at you out of your structure.
Right.
So anyway,
I think. My simple brain wants to just reduce this to something understandable, and I think the big takeaway here is your roofer needs to know what the heck he's doing.
Well, you've got a perfect example of this.
That's a good point, Rick.
You've got a perfect example of this on your roof, Rick. You have a flat membrane roof. It's not flat.
Part of it, yeah, it's flat-ish.
It's lightly sloped, modestly sloped. So anyway, you have a flat roof that intersects walls.
Right.
Okay. And those walls are frame structures, and they're covered with siding. It's a really simple example for you. You have your lap siding, your redwood that's on your parapet.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look at what happens in that lap siding with the expansion and contraction at the corners, at the joints, in the silicone, and all the caulking.
It's a constant issue.
A constant battle. Battle. Well, that same thing is going on at the roof surface in all those little joints between in your case, you have a mod bit roof. Those are overlapped 4 inches.
Right.
Okay. But where you have those overlaps, those are all working too. They're slipping at the same time.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
it's very, very complicated.
Dimensional stability. Very good, Scotty.
Well, I'd like to
it'd be a good one.
I'd like to remind everybody we do still have that trivia question hanging out there. 405-478-1520. If you think you know what the most common period of time that the insurance company wants you to use to report a storm event, the damage to your house. It's a simple number.
And it's not just a house. Anything.
The structure.
Yeah.
Structure, commercial or residential.
We talked a little bit last week. We started down this path talking a little bit about duties, okay?
Right.
The insurance company, you've entered into a contract with an insurance company. They have a duty to you, but you have duties to them as insured.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's exactly where the answer to this question comes from, your duties to the insured.
And with that, we will take our first break. I'd like to remind you, you're listening to McRoof Talks Insurance. And if you haven't picked up on that yet, well, you're not listening very well. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. We're live in studio with restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCollum, HAAG-certified roofing inspector Scotty McCollum. On the other side of the glass, Eric Yandel, waiting for your phone calls to 405-478-1520. We'll be right back.
Folks, let's talk a little bit about Roof RX. This is our inspect, repair, and maintain company. We're talking right now about the need for a wintertime inspection on your roof. We need to take a look at your roof and see what last year's weather and the winter storms have done to your roof. Make sure everything is in good shape. If you need some simple repairs to get you into storm season, then we'll so advise. If you have significant damage on your roof from last season's storms and you actually are one of these people who needs to file an insurance claim before that clock ticks out, we'll let you know that as well and walk you through that process. And then at the end of all of this, after you've either repaired or replaced your roof, we need to talk to you about that ongoing maintenance. A roof isn't something that you just forget about. It's something that does need to be maintained. It is a requirement of warranties on commercial roofs and something that homeowners need to take care of on their residential roofs. So roof-rx.com. Give Carly a call at 405-877-7663 and start with that first step. Let's get your roof inspected.
Homer Stacy was a wholesome, good American kid from Texas. At the age of 18, he enlisted in the United States Army and was stationed at Fort Bliss, Texas. Homer was fascinated with aircraft, so he went to flight school and became an Army Air Corps pilot. Homer Stacy was the pilot of a Convair B-24 Liberator, the Yankee Doodle Dandy. November 11, 1943, Homer and his crew, along with 31 other bombers, flew a mission to destroy a ball bearing plant in occupied France. On the return trip, a mechanical failure caused the plane to drop out of formation, leaving the Yankee Doodle Dandy vulnerable, and shortly thereafter, 7 German Me-109 shot the plane down near Andano, Italy. 4 crew members were killed on board. The others parachuted. 1 was captured and taken prisoner. Homer was among the remaining 5 who made it to Switzerland and returned to duty. Homer Stacy survived World War II. the Korean War and retired after 21 years of service with numerous awards and citations, not to mention the Purple Heart. Homer Stacy. Homer Stacy McCollum. Scott McCollum's dad. Scott McCollum is McRoof. McRoof is owned and operated by the McCollum family, an honorable, trustworthy red, white, and blue family. If you want to improve or repair your property, call 855-766-3405. Ask for a no-cost roof assessment and home inspection. That's McRoof, 855-766-3405. That's McRoof.
And McRoof Talks Insurance back on the air on KOKC, AM 1520, FM 95.3 in Oklahoma City. On this date in 1863, Samuel Clemens first used the pen name Mark Twain in a Virginia City newspaper called the Territorial Enterprise. Then in 1876, Albert Spalding invested $800 to start a sporting goods company manufacturing the first official baseball, tennis ball, basketball, golf ball, and football.
Wow.
And on this date in 1959, the music died. Oh, plane crash killed Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, and the pilot near Clear Lake, Iowa. And I tell you, it's a sobering place to be there. I went there one time about 5-6 years ago, and there's nothing marking it other than you have to know where to go. And they have a wooden set of black-rimmed eyeglasses.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
And at the road, and then you have to park and then walk about a quarter mile along a fence row to where they have 3 little metal discs that look like 45s, and with the names of Buddy Holly, Big Bopper, and
Richie Valens.
Richie Valens.
You know who was supposed to be on that plane?
Yeah. Well,
what's that?
Waylon Jennings.
Waylon Jennings was supposed to be on the plane.
And he didn't feel well, so he gave it to the Bopper, right?
I think it was Richie Valens he gave it to.
Okay. All right.
But the Surf Ballroom is still there.
The Surf Ballroom, that's where they played the night before.
Wow.
And they took off after the performance to get to the next gig. And didn't make it.
Didn't get there.
Didn't get there. Okay, so I think, we have Jerry on the line. Hey, Jerry, are you calling to give us a trivia answer?
I'll give you a guess.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay, what is the period of time that most insurance companies want for you to report a property damage claim?
Within 1 year.
Yay, you got it.
Nice job, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How is the dimensional stability on your metal roof?
I have to admit that I didn't call in earlier because I was enthralled with Scotty's choice.
He was out with his calipers measuring.
and a description and so forth and the whole concept. I don't recall if it was mod bid or whatever in regards to 3 feet and porch one that you did for me. I don't know if that was or not, but when you were talking the metal roof concepts, believe me, I was really listening and so forth.
Yeah, I had forgotten all about that, Jerry. There's another property involved. I forgot all about that. That does have mod bid on it, Jerry. So you've got both of the things that we really talked about in terms of a membrane roof and a metal roof. So yeah, pretty cool.
So I was, like I said, I was enthralled, and I'm very pleased that you kept the segment regarding Stacy, Dad, Granddad, in your revised show now. I think that's a really great thing. Of course,
it's a nice commercial.
My background, so
right. Well, we've got a lot of military folks around here, and we've got a lot of old bomber bums around here, and so I just think that it's great for people to know where Scotty and I come from. Kind of, hopefully the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So anyway, I want people to know a little bit about my daddy.
Right, and of course you know I put that metal roof on my duplex so that the sun would shine brightly when those airplanes fly over my duplex out of Tinker Air Force Base. They certainly can use my duplex as a marker. We're on the final approach.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. We probably need to, Scotty, I hadn't thought about this. We probably ought to get on Jerry's roof and check for loose fasteners. I mean, there's a little rumbling that goes on over Jerry's house. Anyway. Yeah. All right, buddy. Thanks for your call, and be safe today. Have a great day.
Maybe
hey, Jerry.
Oh, hold on.
I need you to stay on the line so Eric can get your email address so I can send you the 2 free tickets to Carpenter Square Theater.
All right.
Right. And I'll call and talk to Carly regarding fastener check concepts.
Okay. So,
Sounds
Jerry,
good.
stay on the line. Eric, you get Jerry's email address. All right. Now, so Scott, you have a lot of yellow highlighting on a piece of paper.
Oh, well, we talked a little bit about, the duties that we as insureds have to the insurance company. And this is actually, again, we're talking about, for you military folks, I'm actually reading from a USAA policy.
Okay.
Okay. Your duties after the loss. Doesn't define it right here, but says promptly notify us or your agent about the loss.
Okay.
Number 2, and this one's really important, protect the property from further damage.
Right.
Okay. So let me tell you, folks, if you have and I've actually had this situation happen. If you have a severe storm, wind, hail, tornado, whatever, and you have glass, skylights, or penetrations in your roof, and you do not make an effort to have someone come out to take care of what we call emergency board up, the insurance company can draw a line as to what interior damages they are and are not going to pay for. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about anything that's onerous or unreasonable. If it takes you a few days or whatever to get somebody out there and you've gotten up or somebody's gotten up with duct tape or covered up with plastic or leaned a piece of plywood, that's you taking the steps to protect the property.
That's doing something to help.
Doing something to mitigate the insurance company's damage.
Right.
But if you do absolutely nothing, and this goes on for a long period of time, and it's quite obvious that the damage became significantly more than it would have been had someone being reasonably prudent have taken care of this, the insurance company can deny that portion of the claim.
Yeah.
So it's just something to be aware of. Make reasonable and necessary repairs to protect the property and cooperate with us in the investigation of your claim.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are the things that you have to do. I'll add another one. Doesn't specifically say this in here. Everyone understands that the insurance company is not going to pay your deductible. Okay. Your deductible is going to be deducted from the payment to you, and you are obligated by law to pay your deductible. So it's not listed here as a duty of an insured. That's something I want to put out there so that everyone understands that. Okay?
And something that I've noticed a practice in Oklahoma for many decades is roofing companies waiving the deductible.
I don't think that is it certainly is not nearly as prevalent as it once was.
Okay.
I will tell you that that is a violation of statute.
Okay.
There's a statement. I don't have a claim summary with me. There's a statement at the bottom of every claim summary that says that anyone that does anything to incentivize an insured, and in other words, if a contractor does anything to pay any portion of a deductible, that is a
a violation.
That's a violation. Okay?
Yeah.
And so everyone, what we're doing now, because I'll tell you folks, this is going to become more and more prevalent also. We're beginning to get insurance companies that are asking us to show them proof that our clients paid their deductible. Now, our clients all pay their deductible, but we are being asked now from insurance companies before they will release your recoverable depreciation or pay any kind of supplement on the back end that we provide proof that they have actually paid their deductible. So what we're going to do now, and we've already talked about this with our sales folks, the first check that someone writes to McRoof will be in the amount of their deductible.
Okay.
Or in the event that someone is actually signing over that check from the insurance company, then the second check that they write will be a check in the amount of, I want everyone to have a clear paper trail, a canceled check to show that they paid their deductible. And that's the way that it has to work. But you're right, it was Cody, you remember Cody, my brother-in-law. Cody used to call it a cottage industry. He says, this is just a cottage industry in Oklahoma. And people are so used to sticking money in their pocket out of the proceeds of an insurance claim. And somebody, if we're sitting here saying that you're going to have to pay us your deductible, there's going to be 15 other guys saying you don't have to worry about your deductible. Let me tell you, there is not enough money in insurance claims the way they are currently being written for anyone who has workers' compensation insurance, general liability insurance, properly licensed, who's going to provide supervision on your job, who's going to be around to warranty your work if you ever need them. There's not enough money in there for anyone to operate that way like we operate and pay your deductible. They'd be doing it and losing money. That's why we say that the companies that operate that way, when you ask them what your warranty is, well, they don't give you a straight answer, but let me tell you what their warranty is. It's what we call a taillight warranty. You see their taillights at the end of the street and they have your check in their pocket, your warranty's done.
That's right.
Okay, and if that's how you want to operate, if you think that's in your best interest and taking care of your property, good luck.
And there are plenty of people that are.
Yeah.
But hey.
Okay, Scotty, I don't have a sound to introduce your view from the rooftop.
Oh, no.
But,
we need to get one of those.
I'm working on it.
Yeah,
I'm working on it.
We need to get one of those.
This is just our
I'll
second.
brainstorm.
Eric needs
Give you some ideas.
Eric needs to dig out his little crying thing too, because I mean there's a lot. Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Crying thing.
Yeah, your little crying. You had something anyway. Go ahead, Scotty.
Anyway, view from the rooftop. Your title is Call the Roofer.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, well this is actually a very recent occurrence. I was called out last week and ended up coming out to this property in Bethany. Tuesday, I believe. And the diagnosis was that the roof was leaking, or I should say the pre-diagnosis.
Okay.
The pre-diagnosis by the building owner, to be very exact.
Okay.
We did repairs on this roof back in the winter of 2023.
Okay.
So about a year. And this particular property is just a very small strip mall with 4 businesses.
Okay.
And one half is an EPDM rubber roof, low slope roof, very low slope roof. The other half is actually a metal panel roof, an exposed fastener metal panel roof. And what we repaired last year was the transition point. They sit at different levels. The metal roof sits below the EPDM roof.
Okay.
And the EPDM roof transitions to the metal roof by way of a small wall, which essentially cuts the building right in half, cuts the roof right in half.
Yeah.
We cut out some material last year. We cleaned everything off, dried off after we did a light pressure wash, swept off all debris and organic material, leaves, twigs, tree branches, etc., anything else that might have been there. And then we laid a big patch from front to back. The building's only about 50 feet wide, so from front to back is about 50 feet. We just laid a big old stretch of mod bit, and we heat welded it down with a torch, a blowtorch, the proper adhesives at the joints, rolled it out with a weighted roller. It still looks beautiful. It looks just as beautiful last Tuesday when I inspected as the day I left it. The issue was, and this is just the common philosophy or the common idea that building owners have, property owners have of any type when there's a roof leak, or I should say when there's water in the house, it's call the roofer.
Okay.
Because the roofer did something wrong and he needs to fix it.
Right.
But that's not actually the case in this instance, and in a lot of instances. There was a mound of dirt, mud, leaves, twigs, tree branches that had caused a dam effect just to the side of that wall that I said separates the upper EPDM roof and the lower metal panel roof. So I told the owner, we've worked for him on many buildings my dad's worked for him for 10 years. I said, there's nothing that I can do about the repairs we did because they look pristine. They look perfect. But normal maintenance, because of this huge oak tree that is not even yours, your neighbor's, drops all these materials onto the roof. This has created a dam, and week before last, when we had the ice, that ice latched onto all the organic material and could not melt, or when it melted, the moisture from the melt was trapped inside that big mound of debris.
And that backed up water when it was melting found its way in somehow.
And then when we had rain last Friday night, Thursday and Friday, it just exacerbated the issue, and it just overwhelmed those seams, overwhelmed the detail, because they're not meant to be submerged. They're not waterproof, they're watertight, and weather tight, but not to be submerged for 24 or 48 hours. So that's exactly what caused the leak. It's always call the roofer first.
Well, the takeaway is just keep the stuff off your roof.
Exactly.
Even if it's a business, you still have to.
That's why we inspect, repair, and maintain.
And with that, we'll take our second break. We'll be back with Act 3 of McRoof Talks Insurance on KOKC, AM 1520, FM 95.3. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. We're live in studio with restoration specialist, what's your name, Scott McCollum?
Wow.
His progeny, HAAG-certified roofing inspector, Scotty McCollum. We will be back in a flash.
Well, you're probably not tired of that hot attic just yet, but I bet it's going to happen pretty soon. You get a hot attic, and of course, you've got high energy bills. If you want to increase the energy efficiency of your structure, change the comfort level, and reduce your energy cost, consider our Energy Q reflective insulation product. Energy Q comes to us from NASA and the space program. This is a radiant barrier film. It's a double foil aluminum blanket with a thermal break built into the blanket. We get 97% reflectivity. We keep the heat out of your attic. Energy Q can be installed 3 ways. We can install it on the roof if we're replacing your roof. Once we get that clean deck and everything is repaired the way we want it on the deck, we roll out the Energy Q before we roll out the synthetic underlayment. The second way it can be installed is it can be installed as a drape on the bottom of your rafters inside your attic if you are not replacing your roof. This is the most expensive way, of course, because it's very labor intensive. And then the third way, it can be laid as a blanket across your attic floor. This is less expensive than the drape, but it's also much less effective. It gets torn when people walk across it. Over the period of time, it's going to collect dust and dirt, and the reflectivity of the product is going to be reduced. So the best way to install it is on the rooftop if you're doing a roof replacement. Give us a call for a complimentary estimate. Call RoofRx at 405-877-7663. Energy Q and RoofRx, a cool solution for your home or business.
Honoring America's Warriors is an Oklahoma-based 501c3 nonprofit that is committed to honoring our heroes and healing our warriors. Honoring America's Warriors provides teams of disabled combat veterans in service dress uniform to augment military honors for our brave that have served our country. Honoring America's Warriors also provides outdoor activities to get our returning veterans peer-to-peer with other veterans in a non-medical environment. To learn more or to donate, go to honoringamericaswarriors.org today.
McRoof Talks Insurance back on the air for Act 3 of today's show. I'm Rick Allen Lippert with some interesting, obscure historical trivia. On this date in 1962, President John F. Kennedy banned all trade with Cuba except for food and drugs. And I promised Beatles trivia on this date in 1964. The album Meet the Beatles went gold. Oh, my goodness, I remember that. And also on this date in 1964, Capitol Records released the Beach Boys' Fun, Fun, Fun. Now, quick little story about this. There was a DJ, a station manager in Salt Lake City who was a big fan of the Beach Boys in the early days and would bring them to town, had them in studio, and his teenage daughter was there with them, and she was complaining. This was off after the interview. They're hanging out in the station. She was complaining that she was a student at the University of Salt Lake City, whatever university that was, University of Utah, and she had borrowed her father's T-Bird to go to the library, and didn't. And was complaining that he had grounded her, and so the Beach Boys took and wrote the song on the way home.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
Good story.
That's funny.
Okay, I'd like to remind everybody out there that our trivia question is still. No, we got the trivia. Jerry answered the trivia question.
Man.
But we are taking your calls, though, to 405.
We would like to, very much.
Hey, now, I resemble that remark. 405-478-1520. If you have a question for Scott McCollum or Scotty McCollum, we're talking insurance, and specifically homeowners and business owners' property insurance. And if you have a question, give them a call, 405-478-1520. I also want to remind everybody that our show is on the iHeartRadio app. You look for KOKC when you're in the app, and you can listen to us anywhere in the world. And we're also live streaming on YouTube on the McRoof Talks Insurance YouTube channel. All right, gentlemen, what's next?
Well, I was digging around the other day. I was looking for something specific. I'm not sure that I found it, but I was at the insurance department website. If anyone wants to know, that is OID, Oklahoma Insurance Department, .ok.gov. A lot of consumer information on there, and one of the things that I came across was, it's not real detailed, but a little bit of a blurb about what you might do to protect your home from hail damage.
Okay. Well, we're getting into that season.
And, we listen to them. We listened to all of our great friends, the meteorologists, talk about hail yesterday until we were probably all sick at our stomachs. But it is coming. Okay?
Yes, it is
going to happen. And one of the things, the best advice that the insurance department can give you is to invest in a hail-resistant shingle. Shingle is resistant to both cosmetic and functional damage. With Scotty's designation, we talked a little bit about there are a lot of difference in cosmetic and functional damage.
Right.
Not only will this mitigate the cost of wind and hail damage, but many insurance companies offer discounts for homeowners who invest in an impact-resistant shingle. As you know, Rick, we've McRoof has done nothing but impact-resistant roof systems since we came to Oklahoma.
Yeah,
and every client that we get to interface with understands. We talk to them about Class 4 impact-resistant technology and the benefits of it. And it's been proven out. We've been here, you probably probably didn't think about this, but we're going into our 15th season.
I was just about to say, we're pushing 15 years.
We're going into our 15th, just getting ready to roll over our 15th season in Oklahoma. So, and the technology, the quality of the roof systems that we install has really proven itself out. Just in the last year or so, have we started to replace even a few of those roofs that were Class 4 impact resistant. That was our old landmark shingle, our CertainTeed landmark shingle. We're just now starting to replace a few of those roofs. Not very many, maybe a handful at this point in time, but this new flex technology that we're talking about with the SBS, the modified asphalt polymer, folks, these shingles are it's the best thing we've ever had. I'm not going to tell you that you're not going to get something hailed out, but I think it is highly unlikely that you're going to have to replace one of these new flex technology roofs, with the caveat that it is properly installed and properly ventilated. Okay,
right.
Ventilation is huge in terms of the life cycle of a roof.
Well, I can speak honestly as a client and a homeowner with smug satisfaction when you see your neighbors replacing roofs, a few months after a storm, and I'm not.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, when I first came up here to see that first handful of folks that I was sent up here to see, and started to get our foothold in the Oklahoma market. And I made it pretty clear to everyone what our forte was going to be, that we're going to lead with impact-resistant technology.
Yep.
That's going to be our default for everyone, with, of course, the CertainTeed integrity roof system with a Class 4 impact-resistant shingle. And a lot of people in my industry kind of, oh, well, you're just working yourself out of future work. And I said, well, that's a very narrow view of the world, because the people who are next to my roofs who are having to replace theirs will be asking, well, how come they're not having to replace theirs?
Exactly.
And your customer with a regular traditional asphalt shingle will become my customer.
Yeah. That is the sound of the after the storm tip. Or I guess in this case, since we're before the storm season, before the storm.
Scotty, what are we telling people today?
What's our tip this week?
Is it before or after?
It's before. Let's make it before.
It doesn't matter if it's before or after. They still have to start at the same place.
That's right. Well, it all starts with knowing where your roof stands right now.
Okay.
So I would say, in order to do that, call a qualified company with a qualified inspector for whatever application you have, whether that's shingle roof, mod bit,
metal,
wood shake, metal, you name it. We do all roof types, but there are companies that just do one specific type of roof, and that's always a good.
So the inspection is the key to everything.
Right.
You need to have that baseline established.
That's the word I was thinking of.
It needs to be done with integrity to the process. Inspecting a roof is not a it's not a 2-minute deal of leaning a ladder up against your gutter, walking halfway up the first valley and telling you, oh, you need to call your insurance company.
Right.
That is not a qualified roof inspection, is it, Scotty?
No. Unless they have technology that I don't have available to me, which they may at this point. But my inspections usually take about an hour.
Wow.
Hour to hour and a half, depending on the size of the roof. It could take 3 hours, but it just depends.
That's the inspection. And then he takes hours to put everything together in terms of,
Maybe
the
45
report?
minutes to an hour in terms of a conditions overview.
Okay.
Multiple albums of photos specific to different types of details or different categories
coming
of
to
the
a
inspection.
recommendation.
So
which lead to the ultimate recommendation.
Someone who calls McRoof, or rather Roof RX, to get an inspection will get a detailed report.
It's at least I think it's in most cases for me on a residential shingle roof, it's a 15-point checklist that I go through in terms of various conditions which are most common on a shingle roof, or most roofs for that matter, that makes the recommendation. but supports that recommendation with all those different checkpoints to say this condition is present, but not this. Repairs are recommended for, and it gives corresponding repair recommendations for each specific condition, if applicable.
Sounds very comprehensive.
Well, it is, and then
I try
people
to
can
be.
rely on that. And if Scotty, as a result of that inspection and putting his report together, if he's saying, or any of my folks are saying, you know, I really think you need to file a claim with your insurance company, we have every confidence that we're going to back that up. We're going to get on the roof with the insurance company. We're not. There are a lot of roofing companies. I'll just tell you this, and I heard it again yesterday from somebody, that a lot of companies that will tell you to call in a claim and then they won't be there when the insurance company comes out. Well, the reason they don't want to be there is they don't want to be embarrassed by not being able to show the adjuster the damage. So if Scotty tells you, or one of my folks tells you to file a claim, we know that we're going to get on that roof and we're going to walk right to the damage that we want the insurance company to see, and we want them then to be put on notice that, hey, you're going to have to prove to us that this is not what we're saying it is. Okay?
And that was brought to you by Roof RX, the prescription for your ailing roof. And yes, I can speak from experience about the expertise from the Roof RX and the McRoof employees. I had a gentleman come to my house in Edmond. It's been about a year or so ago. Checked the roof out, thorough inspection. I was really impressed. I appreciate that.
All right, and that number, in case you were wondering, gosh, how do I call Roof RX? That number would be 405-877-7663. 405-877-ROOF.
There you go.
Now, I need to say before, because we're getting into the final 5 minutes or so of the show, and I need to tell you that the lawyer called and said that I have to tell you again that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.us, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 80000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing.
You know what that number 2 means?
That means that the guy in front of you didn't know what he was doing. He just happened to show up there, right?
So all the registration numbers started when the act was first, when it was first enacted in 2010, 11, whatever that was, when we started registering roofers, and everybody ran down there to get their registration done. There was an 8000001 at one time. That company has been gone, long gone from Oklahoma for who knows how long, and company 8000002
another zero, just one more zero,
is still there.
So you're literally the top of the list.
Well, we literally are the longest
standing
register.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is saying, and what we're talking about, folks, is the Construction Industries Board, which doesn't necessarily, it's not a license. Well, I guess it is a license.
Registration.
It's a registration. Meaning that you've met some qualifications, and the state of Oklahoma says you're okay.
Well, it involves insurance, your experience. They do a criminal background check and all those kinds of things. So anyway, it's really funny. I was down in, where was I? I was someplace way over in eastern Oklahoma somewhere. And I was at a convenience store, gone in to get a cup of coffee, and I walked back out, and there's this guy leaning, big old burly guy, leaning against my truck like this, you know. And I thought, oh, no, what did I do? And he smiles as I walk up. He says, man, he said, I just wanted to shake your hand. And I said, what? He says, I'm sitting here looking at this 8000002, and I'm going, man, this guy has been there since day one. And he was with the Construction Industries Board.
Oh, how about that? How about that? That's wonderful.
That's pretty cool.
So it is funny, yeah.
Hey, I got to tell everybody, last call for your call. We have time for a speed round. If you have a quick question for McRoof
I don't know where our callers are today.
405-478-1520 for a quick call, or at least get on the list, and Scott will call you back when we get off the air.
I tell you, Scotty was telling you in his story about calling the roofer, and people do. The first, you know, if you've got water someplace that it doesn't belong, that's generally the first call people are going to make. There are a myriad of things that don't have anything to do with the roofer that cause water. But this debris buildup, this organic material, and Rick, we've talked about it ad nauseum on your property. This is something that is a major issue and a major problem. Anyone that's got the big trees around, you're going to have the acorns, you're going to have the sticks and limbs, you're going to have the leaves. That stuff has got to be removed from your roof.
Right.
If you've got a roof that relies on drains, either flat drains that are in the flat part of the roof or drains that are through the walls, all that organic material does is clog those drains up.
Right.
When those drains clog up, water backs up, ice and snow and everything can't melt and get off the roof, and you're going to have issues and problems. So.
Okay. And we do have a call. We got a call from Ken. Hello, Ken. Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir. What is the optimum temperature in the summer upstairs?
In the attic?
You mean in the attic?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'll tell you is that if your roof, and I got to do this really fast, Ken, you can call me back anytime, 405-600-5587. 600-5587, my personal cell phone. Any roof that is properly ventilated, your temperature.
Peekaboo, peekaboo, smile.
20 degrees above.
20 degrees, yes, sir. If it's more than that, your roof is not properly ventilated. And 95% of every roof we look at is not properly ventilated.
20 degrees above ambient.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, Ken, thank you so
for
much.
your question, Ken.
And
thanks a lot.
And if you want to talk to Scott a little more off air, again, his number is 405-600-5587.
And we'll talk about ventilation a lot this spring and summer.
This has been episode number 2 of McRoof Talks Insurance. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. Oh, Dad's wisdom, Scotty, very quickly.
Success is built on repeat customers. Oh, my goodness.
Success is built on repeat customers. That's the McRoof mantra.
We will be back next week taking your calls and talking insurance.
KOKC, Oklahoma City.
The Tyler Media Station, entertaining you since 1965.
95.3 FM and 1520 AM.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Allison Keys. South Carolina is holding the Democratic Party's first official presidential primary. This in a state where black voters almost single-handedly propelled President Biden to the nomination. But pundits have been warning of waning enthusiasm among those supporters and others. And this voter says the big issue is the economy.
I really think that he did a great job with our economy, even though there's a lot of negativity about it. When you kind of look at the facts and kind of look at the most recent reports,